Hi, this is Mr. Peterson from Gardner Edgerton High School, and I want to explain to you the classifications of different types of numbers. We're going to learn about rationals and irrationals and other types of numbers. But we're going to start with the simplest set. This is the set we learn first usually. Children learn how to count this way, 1, 2, 3, and so on. These used to sometimes be called the counting numbers, but we refer to them as the natural numbers today. If you extend that set and include the number 0, they're now the whole numbers. So here's the whole numbers: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so forth. The only whole number that's not also a natural number is the number 0. When you extend this into the negative region, -1, -2, -3, and so forth, the new extended set, which includes whole numbers and natural numbers, are called the integers. So once again, the natural numbers are also whole numbers. All of the whole numbers are also integers. The only whole number that's not a natural number is the number 0. And these boxes are kind of nested one inside the other to try and illustrate that. Our modern society needs more than these numbers, even though students like the simplicity of the integers. The negatives aren't so popular. At any rate, we extend the number system to include ratios or fractions. So rational numbers comes next, and it includes these. I'll show you that later. But rational numbers are any numbers that can be expressed as a fraction where the top and bottom, the numerator and denominator, are integers. So in a couple examples here, 2/3, -4/5, mixed numbers like 3½ which could be written as 7/2. Any number that can be expressed as a fraction. These integers are also included, since you can take, for instance, 8, which is an integer, and you can put it over 1. There's your fraction. Any number you can make a fraction out of is a rational number. Remember, ratio stands for fraction. Two other categories are repeating decimals and terminating decimals. A famous terminating decimal that most people know can be made into a fraction is 0.25. That's 1/4. Terminating to terminate means to stop, so this stops after 2 decimal places. Here's one that goes 3 decimal places, and that's 1/8. And you could even do 0.37, which would be 37/100. And the moral of this, you catch on pretty quick, is that when a decimal terminates, it can always be made into a fraction. The same can be said for repeating decimals. Probably the most famous is 3 repeating, which can be written with a rapid 10 bar above the repeating section. And since you can make the fraction 1, that's the 1/3 there. 0.333 is 1/3. There's your ratio. Any repeating decimal, I'm not going to be showing this, but any repeating decimal, for instance 0.28, 28, 28, 28, 28, that repeating decimal can also be made into a fraction. And there's ways of showing that this is always true. So the upshot is, in decimal format, rational numbers are numbers that repeat or terminate. Well, not all decimals repeat or terminate, and the ones that are non-terminating and non-repeating, those type of decimals, are not, IR means not, rational. So you can't make a fraction out of them. The most famous one is pi. Pi is often said to be 3.14. If that were the case, that would be 314/100, and it would belong over here underneath the ratio side or the rational side. But really, pi goes on forever, like 3.1415926535, and it never terminates, and it doesn't repeat. Now that's the type of decimals you have over here. Irrational numbers are non-terminating and non-repeating decimals. Most square roots belong over here, like square root of 6 if you do it on your calculator, or square root of 10, or square root of 54. All of those are examples of irrational numbers. You put them on your calculator, it's going to fill the screen with decimals and no repeating pattern. However, some square roots actually belong on the other side. Square root of 9 is actually 3. And you can make a ratio out of that simply by putting it over 1. Any perfect square, I'll give you another example, square root of 49, that's just 7, since 7 times 7 gives 49, and the ratio is 7 over 1. So now you have an understanding, I hope, of the classifications of real numbers. Irrationals and rationals are the two types of real numbers. Rational numbers are ones you can make fractions out of. They come as repeating or terminating decimals. Special cases are the naturals, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. Whole numbers, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the integers, which includes the negatives, and the positives, and 0. The integers includes all of them. And then we have these unwieldy ones over here, the irrationals that don't repeat and don't terminate. So I hope this is a good summary and you understand better the classifications of real numbers.